Hi and welcome back to the course. I'm really excited to get started with creating this REST API. In order to create the REST API, we're going to have to go through a couple of steps. Remember, we've got a list of stores, and we're starting this list with a single store in it. And that's for a specific reason. Creating a store is slightly more complicated than retrieving a store. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with retrieving all our stores. And that's going to be the first endpoint we're going to implement and that we're going to test here in this video, and then we're going to move on to the others. The first thing we have to do is to understand one thing, which is what JSON is. Now, for those of you that are more experienced, I'm sure you already know what JSON is, but I'll just quickly explain it. JSON is essentially a dictionary. Something like this. So JSON is a set of key value pairs, just like a dictionary is, and it's really useful to send data from one application to another. For example, our JavaScript application might request a list of stores, and they come back as a JSON, and then we can sort of look at each dictionary and retrieve some data from it, just like we do in Python. So JSON is really useful to send data between applications, and it looks pretty much just exactly like this. However, JSON is not a dictionary. JSON is text. It is a long string. So our application has to return a string in this format, and then JavaScript has to read that and deal with it as a string, maybe convert it to a JavaScript sort of dictionary between quotes, and then deal with it like that. So there has to be some sort of conversion between a dictionary, which is a Python thing, and a string, which is something that we can send over the internet. So we cannot send a Python dictionary to JavaScript because JavaScript wouldn't understand it, but JavaScript does understand what text is, and then it can do its own sort of conversion there. Fortunately, Flask really helps us out here with a method called JSONify, which takes in a dictionary and converts it to JSON, which is a string in this format. All we have to do is go to the very top of our file and say from Flask import Flask, JSONify. And that is a method that we're going to need. Notice how it's lowercase because it's not a class, it is a method. So let's go down into our stores. This getStores method that is going to return all our stores. And what we're going to do is we're going to say return JSONify stores. Remember, what this is going to do is it's going to convert the stores variable into JSON. There is one last small problem, which is that JSON is a dictionary, and our stores variable is not a dictionary, it is a list. JSON cannot be a list, but we want to return not a single store, but a dictionary with all our stores. So what we do is we say JSONify, and we make this into a dictionary. Stores is stores, like that. So this is now our dictionary, which has one key only, which is stores, and that key has a value associated with it, which is our list of stores. This is our variable that we declared up there. And that's all in a dictionary, so we JSONify that, and we return that to the person making the request. So let's save the app.py. Let's go over to our terminal, make sure that we're in the right place. So in my case, the folder is up here, /users/jsrvtr/code/section3/video code. So let's go there. And then let's do Python 3.5 app.py. So now notice we are running. Copy that, go over to your browser of choice, paste it in, and make sure to say /store. So what do you think is going to happen when we press enter? What are we going to see on our page? Try to create a mental image as to what's going to come out. So this is what we see. a JSON representation of our stores. Remember, we've got a dictionary with one key called stores, and that is a list. This is our variable, and that list has one element in it, one dictionary, and that has a name down here and a list of items. Remember, dictionaries are not ordered because they are sets. So the items in this case has appeared first, even though in our code the name is first. So this is what a REST API really does. It returns JSON after doing some processing. So for example, the REST API we're developing will allow us to create stores, create items, and return them and things like that. It would, for example, be very useful for a mobile app that has been created to represent a store. The mobile app could call our API and store stores and items so that the mobile app can then retrieve them and so on. So what we've got here is something very specific, which is the list of stores that we started a program with, and also they're in JSON format, and we can tell that they're in JSON format as opposed to a Python dictionary because of the double quotes. JSON always uses double quotes and never single quotes. That's a very important thing in JSON, so remember that. Always double quotes, never single quotes. And it always has to start with a dictionary, so you cannot return a list only. So that's everything for this video. We've implemented our first endpoint, and in the next video we're going to implement the rest, and that's going to include creating the endpoints. Creating the stores and the items. It's not going to be too challenging, so you can give it a go if you want, and if not, then I'll see you in the very next video.